Welcome to Faith in 5, a weekly video devotional designed to discuss practical spiritual concepts in 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Mark Vandella. Growing up, we all read fairy tales, right? The stereotypical formula of there is a damsel in distress and there is a male hero that needs to come find that person and save them. It is it's Snow White, it is Rapunzel, it is Shrek, it is, right, like, I can't even come up with them all. It is the common fairy tale where we get to the spot where we find our one true love. Honestly, in the real world, that makes me want to barf. And I'm not necessarily an anti-romantic. However, I think that there are things that we believe about relationships. There's things that we believe about marriage and faith that we kind of inherit. And when we inherit them, we don't realize that we believe them, but over time, they greatly, dramatically impact our relationships. And so we're in our Marriage Myths series where we're trying to take the things that we might have inherited and believed about marriage and how dangerous those can be when we're not aware of them, and then also looking at how that applies to our faith, how that impacts our faith. And so today's myth is the soulmate myth. Most people believe that we go out, we're born into this world, two people are born into this world, and somehow, some way, the stars will align and we will meet. And there will be fireworks and it will be amazing and beautiful, and then we will live happily ever after. And that's just not reality, right? The problem with this myth is that it kind of takes two beliefs to believe it. One is that I'm just that good at being a detective. I'm a super sleuth. I go out into this world and I'm just regularly searching and I'm looking. No, that person's not. No, that's not. No, I think I found him or her. And that can't possibly be the way that it is, right? So one is that it thinks that we're that good, that we find the right person. Or the other thing is that we just get that lucky, that somehow we just wander aimlessly through this world and God will kind of move us around like chess pieces, and somehow we will end up bumping into each other and falling in love at first sight. Soulmate, my one true love, this is a myth. It is not biblical. There's no place in the Bible where it says God has put you on earth for one person and one person only. Now, again, after you meet that person, that's true. But that isn't this, I have created one person for you and you need to go search high and low until you find them. That is Mother Goose stuff. That is Disney stuff. It's not biblical. In fact, every time the Bible talks about love and marriage and lasting relationships, it describes characteristics of. And so it's not I have created one person for you, go find them. It is, if you find somebody that you love, it takes work. There are characteristics that should be present. So yes, there may be a checklist of sorts, but we're looking for characteristics. And then how do we continue to live into those characteristics, believe those characteristics? The best relationships are not ones that we stumble into. They're ones that we work hard on. In fact, Colossians 2:8 kind of warns us against this. It doesn't specifically talk about the soulmate myth, but it is a concept that directly applies to this. It says, see to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy. Fairy tales, right? Which depends on human tradition and the elemental spiritual forces of this world rather than that of Christ. And see, the perfect relationships are not perfect. Perfect relationships are one that take work, that take commitment, that take behavior like Christ, which is really serving. And so in our relationships, when we define these characteristics of who we want to be, what we want to be displayed, what we want to exist inside of our relationships, and then how do we continue to navigate those, live those out, and serve each other, that is a relationship built on Jesus versus, well, I found this person, and at some point down the road, it's not quite fairy tale-like, and so I must not have actually found that person. I must not be as good at being a detective as I thought I was, or maybe I'm just not that lucky. Because there's somebody else over here that sits next to me at work or that I bumped into on vacation, and I think that might be the one. It's a damaging myth that starts to deteriorate our relationships over time when we believe it, when our reality doesn't match that because it's not reality, it's fairy tale. And so this happens in our faith too. We kind of expect that because we believe that all the stars will align always when it comes to our relationship with God, when it comes to our desires and our prayers and our wishes. The soulmate or the fact that we stumble into a relationship with God, the two things are dangerous myths in our faith. So this week, the challenge is to examine your relationships, to examine your faith and see where you have believed the Hollywood version, the fairy tale version, and try to root out some of that and really look at reality and ask God to step into it. Ask God to step into where you should put energy and effort rather than asking him why your life hasn't perfectly aligned as if the stars willed it so. God is not a God of fairy tales. God is a God of engagement, relationship, and ongoing work. So this week in your faith, engage your relationships and work hard at them. Work hard to serve.